strike. Court restricts protests in Lagos to Freedom Peace Park. And on the foreign scene, Israel military says it killed Hezbollah commander in targeted strike. I'm Ifechuku Moyele with the news. Now, a federal high court in Port Harcourt says the PDP in Rivers State has the right to appoint legal counsel for themselves without interference from the national legal advisor of the party. This followed a suit brought before the presiding judge Mohammed Obile by the national legal advisor of the PDP, challenging the authority of the state legal advisor of the PDP in Rivers State to appoint legal representation in a case filed by the Boot Party. Recall that the state PDP had appointed a lawyer, Joshua Musa, to represent them, but the national legal advisor of the party, Kamaldeen Ajibade, also appeared in court to represent the party as well, and argued that as a national legal advisor, he has the responsibility of defending the party and its candidates in court. Mr. Ajibade also objected to the appearance of Mr. Musa in court, saying the state has no authority to appoint legal representation without the permission of the national body. In his ruling, however, Justice Obile held that Mr. Ajibade has no authority to challenge the appointment of Joshua Musa and that the national legal advisor is hereby restrained from denying the state's legal advisor the right to appoint legal representation. In another development, leaders of the Simplified Movement in Old Port Harcourt Township are urging Orukwem Amadi Opareli to contest the chairmanship position for Port Harcourt City Local Government Area. This appeal was made during a solidarity visit, aligning with similar appeals from various groups in the local government area over the past 2 weeks. A stakeholder in the movement, Robert Sinjak, praised the sacrifices of Mr. Amadi Opareli, which he said has strengthened the movement into its current formidable structure.
For us, we still remember when on the 30th of October 2023, the former lawmakers attempted to impeach the governor. The following day, those of us who were courageous enough to say this thing is wrong and we were willing to come out open, we all found shelter in this your house here. At a time, there was threat of dynamite attack to this house, but you were not perturbed. So based on that, we are joining our voices with the numerous groups that have come to call on you.
On the spot, chairman of the Aqua Cross chapter of non-indigens in Rivers State, Obiadan Oyo, said non-indigens play significant roles as partners in supporting Governor Siminalayi Fubara's administration. Mr. Oyo urged Mr. Amadi Opareli, whom he said has shown the qualities of an inclusive leader, to contest in the forthcoming local council elections. In response, Mr. Amadi Opareli expressed gratitude for the support and promised to make a decision soon after consulting with his family and seeking divine guidance.
This call started with Fire Constituency through calling on me to run for the office of Mayor of Port Harcourt. Today, the leaders of the Simplify movement in the town houses, and today you are here with a check of 1 million naira. But the purchase of my nomination form, I want to thank you people very specially. I want to assure you people that I will not disappoint you. I'm still consulting, talking to my God. And after my consultation with God, I will consult with my family. I know in less than no time from now, I will make a statement.
Our correspondent reports that the highlight of the event was the donation of 1 million naira to Mr. Amadi Opareli in support of the purchase of his nomination form. The check was presented by Bulma Braid, a stakeholder of the Simplified Movement in Falga State Constituency 2. Away from that, gunmen abducted a woman, Augusta Maduabuchi, from her shop in Oyibo River State last night. The incident happened at about 8 p.m. at Diamond Valley Estate in Omowerie. Her son, who witnessed it, spoke to newsmen.
She was packing everything in her shop. Two people came out from the bush. She was running, and then armed robber now came and shooting gun. They attacked her and they came up. They told us to give my mother our phone. They took my mother money. They took some things that was in my mother's shop. Now carry my mother and go. He was crying. I want them to bring my mother back because I need my mother. The rest of my siblings are still crying for my mother till now.
Her devastated husband, Madu Abuchinwogu, however, called for her unconditional release.
My son called me that some people came and kidnapped my wife. That is the length I know. Actually, I don't know the people, but all I'm pleading, please, they should release my wife. I don't have anything. We are just hustling, trying to survive the situation of the country. Before such a thing now, this kind of situation come. Please, I'm begging, no matter who the person is. I'm not trying to drag them or do whatever. I'm just pleading if they should come to my aid and help me to release that woman because she's not feeling fine. She's not okay. She's on drugs. Please.
Moving on, the South Zonal Chairman of Pensioners Williams Selepere is demanding a minimum wage for a retired civil servant. Dr. Selepere said the demand became necessary following the signing of the 70,000 naira new minimum wage for civil servants by President Bola Tinubu 2 days ago. Now, he urged the government to begin preparation for the consequential adjustment to alleviate the suffering of pensioned.
It is noted in the Constitution or in the law that when once the workers' salaries are increased, the percentage, 20% is also to be added to the pensioner. We want the state government to, as a matter of urgency, implement the percentage that accrue to the pensioners in the state, because we all go to the same market.
Meanwhile, the state chairman of Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Collins Nwankwo, has frowned at the slow pace at which the state government is paying gratuities and pension arrears for retirees in the state.
All we are praying is that the state government should understand these things and carry out the payment implementation immediately. Because when they delay, it creates a big problem for us. That is where consequential adjustment policy begin to come in. But if it is implemented almost immediately, as workers are getting this, we are also getting our own on the other line. No problem, people will get their own. We may not get exactly what those on board that's working get, but whatever we get will be able to keep us fine with them.
In another development, an agricultural engineer, Charles Okoro, has blamed the hike on the prices of agricultural produce on government policies and programs. Speaking on Nigeria 4FM's Morning Crossfire, Mr. Okoro took a swipe at the police for contributing to food inflation by extorting transporters at checkpoints.
If the government are doing what they are supposed to do, the price wouldn't have been there. The uncertain government, our farmers found themselves now is also making the cost high. The cost of transporting from north to all the other parts of the country has also increased because the cost of fuel, the cost of diesel is high. And the Nigerian government has increased the tariff electricity. The poor farmer, after all these things, you expect him to sell it at a cheaper rate. The police and our security agents are also part of high cost in rice and other food stuff. Any checking point you reach to collect one white.
He tasked the federal government to move beyond temporary reduction in the price of rice by providing an enabling environment and incentives to farmers.
In line with the 40,000 bag of rice, this is a capital flight approach. This rice was produced overseas, where their farmers are giving single-digit loans to produce it, and government encouraged them by providing mechanized machine that will allow them to produce. If it was produced at the rate and at the condition we have seen the farmers in Nigeria, I don't think they will be able to stay that 40,000 naira. The trader that is already exploiting science, it will force them to start reducing the cost of their own because their own will be dormant.
As you may know, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said there is no need for the planned nationwide protest scheduled for tomorrow, adding that President Bola Tinubu is already protesting on behalf of Nigerians by meeting some of their demands.
Most of the demands that protesters are making are actually being addressed by the federal government. And therefore, it is the view of government that there is really no need for the protest again. The president is already protesting on their behalf by doing those things that they want government to do. For example, the effort that government is making in ensuring that food is being made available. There is also rice that is being sold at about 50% of its cost.
Still to come, President Tinubu mourns music icon Onyeka Onwenu. Stay with us.
Allow us to save you the stress.
Count on us for your daily dose of information and current affairs.
You ask for it, the conversation, and more. On Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. A Lagos High Court has granted an application filed by the State Attorney General Lawal Pedro seeking to restrict the proposed August 1st nationwide protest in Lagos to the Gani Fawemi Freedom Park in Ojota and the Peace Park in Ketu. The Lagos State Attorney General argues that there is a need to prevent the protests from being hijacked by hoodlums who are prepared to breach law and order and cause destruction in different locations. In other news, a pharmacist, Ronari Charles, is pushing for the local production of medicines in response to the rising cost of inhalers, insulin, and other essential medications. Dr. Charles, who was the immediate past chairman of Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria in Bayelsa State, told correspondent Martha Okere that the exit of foreign pharmaceutical companies, hike in petrol price, has increased the cost of raw materials and the overall expenses of running pharmaceutical operations. He is calling on the government to support local manufacturing efforts.
We have not encouraged local production of medicine. A lot of the medicines we use are imported. And importation is not made with naira. It is made with dollars. And so if you are not in control of the dollar, you also cannot control the prices of medicines that are imported into the country. So local production of medicine and the government encouraging local production, and then not just local production, you can produce medicines locally, and then the people are not patronizing those local industries. So encouraging people to patronize locally manufactured drugs is one key factor to reducing the cost of medicine.
Our correspondent visited various pharmacies around Port Harcourt and reports that an inhaler now costs between 9,000 naira and 12,000 naira. A user may exhaust one inhaler within 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the severity of the asthma or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Speaking on this, a woman who uses an inhaler accused pharmacies in Port Harcourt of taking advantage of the rising cost of medications to sell fake inhalers. She spoke anonymously to our correspondent.
I bought 3 fake inhalers that almost killed me. So I know how inhaler tastes in your mouth when you pump it. So when I used it, it was tasting like expired gas. It wasn't working. It was like I was pumping poison into my system. Instead of it to calm the high breathing, I keep breathing high and I have this discomfort. So I discontinued. So people are taking the opportunity of GSK delivering Nigeria to begin to do fake inhalers.
She also said the executive order signed by President Bola Tinubu in June to introduce zero tax on imported pharmaceutical inputs has not yet reduced the cost of inhalers.
There's no reduction. I just bought the inhaler the day before yesterday and it's still the same price. I buy one for 12,000 naira. So, we have a problem in this country. Once things go up, it takes the mercy of God for it to come down. It has not been affected.
Recall that the order was signed to revitalize the health sector and increase production of healthcare products. In business, the federal government paid over 600 billion in electricity subsidy in the first quarter of 2024. According to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission quarterly report, the sum represented a 150.5% increase from 252.76 billion naira in the fourth quarter of 2023. The electricity market regulator blamed the increase on the government's policy to harmonize exchange rate as well as the absence of cost-reflective tariffs across all electricity distribution companies. In entertainment, President Bola Tinubu has extended his condolences to the family of the late legendary singer, songwriter, actor and politician Onyeka Onwenu. She died on Tuesday night at a Lagos hospital at the age of 72. President Tinubu in a statement said the late musician's edifying and mellifluous rendition of One Love in the 1990s evoked fellowship and harmony. In sports, Nigerian sprinter Favour Ofele says she will not be competing in the 100-meter race at the ongoing Olympics in Paris due to administrative failures by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria and the Nigerian Olympic Committee. And on the international scene, Israel says it has killed a top Hezbollah commander after carrying out an airstrike on a southern suburb of the Lebanese capital, Beirut. The Israeli military says Fuad Shukar was a target of an intelligence-based elimination. Hezbollah has not yet confirmed his death, but says Shukar was in a building that was hit at the time.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the main stories. A federal high court in Port Harcourt says the Rivers PDP can appoint a lawyer without the interference of the National Legal Advisor. A family of a woman abducted in Rivers State is demanding her unconditional release. An expert has blamed government policies and police extortion for food price hike. A Lagos court has restricted protests to Freedom and Peace Parks. And on the foreign scene, Israel military says it has killed the Hezbollah commander in a targeted strike. The news was edited by Martha Okere. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Munyali. Many thanks for listening.
Track with Nigeria Info
and PFN, the Stone Bishops.